do this in one take, hopefully. Okay, so good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me. If you do know me or don't, I recognize, I think, every name in here. I'm Mr. Yemma, and I work as an instructional coach in Youngstown City Schools. Today, what I'm going to show you is how I use iMovie. I've been using it since back before I was an instructional coach, and I was a teacher. Cheney and Rayon Early College Middle School got the Apple grant, and so I've been working with Apple products since then. And I used iMovie in class as a teacher, so I've heard that you guys are getting iPads. I don't know exactly what the story is there, but if you do have a chance to use Apple products, what I'm going to show you today is on a Mac operating system. However, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, everything that you're going to see, you can also do on there. There's some more advanced functions you can do from a laptop. But as I was saying a little bit earlier, using an iPhone or an iPad, that actually makes it a little easier because there's less functions for you to have to worry about. So here's what I'm going to do. Every week, I'm putting out some episodes on YouTube. A little series I'm doing called Yemma Nation Explores Reading. I'm using National Geographic books and I'm reading them aloud. Either I'm doing it or my son's doing it, and then I'm using iMovie to edit them and put them up on YouTube. So I'm going to walk you through how I do that. Basically, I'm going to open up iMovie and show you step by step. I'm going to start with a bare bones nothing, but I do have the finished product of what I'm doing to show you at the end. So I'm not going to go through the entire editing process. I'm just going to show you how to do every little thing that's involved in it. So you get to see all the functions of iMovie. Hopefully you find it fun, easy, or whatever. I'm going to share my screen and get going. You can feel free to stop me for questions. I don't know if Tiffany wants to help me facilitate that. I would appreciate that because part of what I want to do is make sure that I'm not going too fast and all that. So I'm trying to fit everything.
Let you know if there's any questions.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions because I do want to stop, and I built in the time to be able to do that. So can everybody see my screen? Is this it? Yes, I think I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So this is when you open up iMovie, and you're going to have to follow my mouse a little bit while I do this. It's this purple star icon. Where I'm circling with my mouse now is the finished product of what we're doing today. But I'm also going to start it bare bones. So I'm going to create a new video. And I'm going to click movie. If you use a trailer, it's just something different. They're like basically templates for being able to do this. So when you open up a movie gives you like a blank template, which is what you need to be able to have more freedom and customization. So this is what it looks like when it's blank. On the bottom here is going to be your work area. And then your top half of your screen is split into two parts. The left part, which, excuse that, the left part is where all your media is going to rest, where I'm circling right now. And then all of these things are your functions in iMovie. Audio, titles, backgrounds, transitions. And then over here is kind of like your test space. You'll be able to, and then with any type of clip that you have open, whether it's a picture or video, these are editing functions up here. And I'm going to definitely show you some of those. But I'm not using them all for this video, but my intention is to show you some. So I have a blank template and I want to make this movie. If you've watched any of my movies, you'll see that I always have the same video in the beginning, the same song in the beginning, same song in the end, and then some scrolling credits, and then the meat in between is what I change. So you can pull media for this blank area down here from two places. The first place is going to be your photos library. So anything that you have saved in your photos, you will be able to use in iMovie. It translates very easily this is what I recommend mostly. So I scroll down to the most recent thing, and my son and I, we read the book called Farm to Table. So all I do is I click and drag that down in here. That's one way, or I can double click it and it lands in there too. Right, maybe not. Something's doing, I'll show you that, sorry. So what I did was I brought that clip of my son. We had previously screencasted him reading the book aloud. The next video, this is our intro video, and I'm gonna pull this down into my work area, and this comes before the book. So you see I want it to land over here. You can make it land over here. You can rearrange them at any time. And I just know from experience that I only use the first 23.5 seconds of this video. So I'm right away gonna show you one way to trim a video. I drag the mouse over the video clip to the right until it looks like this with the 2 arrows. Hold down my mouse, sorry, and I click left, I drag it left down to, sorry, 23.5 seconds. I know I used that much of that video for my intro. The next 2 pieces that I add in are the scenes that we record for our introduction and our outro, if you will. And just for the purpose of this little class that we're doing today, I want to show you another place that you can pull media from. And this works if you have a video file that is not a photo. You cannot load certain photo files directly into iMovie. That's why I recommend that you store all your pictures into photos. But we used these 2 videos, which when I click on my Finder, I have these videos that we uploaded from my phone, and I airdropped them over to my laptop. One is the beginning video, and one is the end video. Okay. I'm gonna need to test something. Can you guys, I'm gonna need some confirmation. Can you hear my screen?
It's very
Yes.
low.
You can hear?
Yeah, it's low, but I can hear. No, I can't.
Let me try taking off my, let me try. I have an idea. Can you hear it better now?
That read along with us. So as I said in the beginning, I really thought this was an interesting book.
You can hear that better?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's going to be important that you hear what I'm kind of trying to do a think aloud, I guess, as I do this, so you guys can see the things that I'm thinking about. And one of the important things is the sound, for sure. So I want to tell you guys something. One thing I noticed as I loaded those 2 videos in is I accidentally put the outro first and the intro last. So that's a quick and easy fix. I can click and drag, hold it down, or I'm sorry, click it. You see how it's outlined with the yellow boxes? Now I can just drag it over to the beginning, and the same thing, click and drag over here. So if you're using an iPad, you can imagine how the finger functions work easily for that. Now, one thing I want to show you with the work area down here, because basically I have all my media in there. I do want to show you how to put pictures in there here in a second, but I'm really not using pictures for this video, so I'm going to show you, then I'm going to take it away. But I want to show you something important over here. This area, this sliding bar helps you zoom in and out of your work area down here. So that's going to become important when I want to start fine-tuning things. So when I zoom in, notice down on the bottom left how the clips start to enlarge. And you're going to see me utilize that function a lot coming here soon, because like I said, it's important when you want to start fine-tuning things. Sorry, I'm slightly distracted because a couple deer ran in front of me, and I'm sitting in my bay window, so normally I would sit in awe. All right, so let me show you how to add a picture really quickly, and then some things you can do with pictures. Sorry, these are video clips of some of my old students. So I think I only have videos showing here. So let me see here. Because the picture stuff, all right. So when I click and drag a picture down into my work area, there's some different things you can do with it. Once you click on something and you see it highlighted in the yellow box, you can come up here, and if you're following my mouse, up in that top right work area, I was telling you there's different things you can do to edit a picture. So this is basically photo editing, which I don't really mess with because I try to put already edited photos in there. But here, this becomes important. There's different ways that you can display a picture. So I guess one thing I didn't explain yet is if you see me bring my mouse down here, this vertical slider is, I'm kind of just hovering my mouse and playing over the clip and just letting it play. I'm using my mouse to guide that. You can kind of test and see what the video looks like at any time. So that's important too. And if you click in a spot, that's like your editing spot when you go to scroll away. If you go to do something up here that changes the video, this vertical line tells you where that's going to happen in your video. So maybe I should have explained that sooner. I didn't have it in my notes, but I realize it's one of the most important things. It really guides what you're doing. So back to what I was saying, and sorry about the digression there. It was important. When you do put a picture in, there's a few different things you can do. If you click fit, it fits it to the screen. And when you play the video clip, it's not gonna move. It's not dynamic. It's just a still picture. You can crop it, which is basically, you've probably seen these types of cropping screens. Say you just want to show a certain part of the picture, and that's what that's going to look like when you play the video. And then there's something called the Ken Burns effect. And Ken Burns, I think he was like a movie director that showed this dynamic effect that if you move across a picture, you pan across a still picture, like I said, it creates a dynamic effect. So you can control the start and the end of the Ken Burns. So say I want it to zoom in on their faces. I want to change the start to the where it says end. So I just double click real quickly. I think it flips them around. Or no, right here, it flips them around. So now I got the start zoomed out and the end zooms in on their faces. And when you go to play that back, it's gonna, oh wait, why didn't that save? There, it looks like that. So my recommendation, and a lot of people like this, if you go to one of your first iMovies, might be just a slideshow of pictures. My best recommendation is to use the Ken Burns effect and then put transitions in between, like maybe one consistent transition in between each picture. And transitions is coming up soon, so hold the thought on that. A couple other things you can do with, oh wait, I'm sorry, let me see if there's anything with a picture. There's not, you can't control like the sound and the speed of that. That's what these.
You have a question that says, can you put music in it?
Oh, definitely. And we are definitely going to show you how to do music. And I understand that when you start using iMovie, I'll actually recommend trying to do like a slideshow with the soundtrack. It helps you utilize a lot of functions such as transitions and the Ken Burns effect. And as we're going to see soon, how to put a soundtrack in there. So if you want to see the music part, stay tuned. It's coming within this hour. So if that doesn't answer your question, please let me know. So I was going to show you one more thing you can do with a picture. And I do this sometimes in my videos, is you can sometimes want a picture to show up in a video in different ways. And so notice how I grabbed the picture and now I'm starting to like layer what's going on in my video here. Number of different things you can do here. I like to use it for maybe the picture-in-picture effect, which, where is my, Hang on a second if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Over here on the left, if you click picture in picture, then you go to play back the video and watch. See how that shows up in there? So if you guys, sometimes like in some of these videos, you'll see I'm talking about something and like a memory, and I pull in the picture in picture, but I didn't like where it was. So maybe I wanted to put it up here. Maybe I wanted it to like take up a bigger part of the screen. So just a, basically anything that you see as a video effect on TV, you can do it in iMovie. And the way that I'm mostly self-taught doing this, and the two things that have helped me grow the fastest, number one was as a teacher when I used it in my class. When you open up and let a lot of your kids, they teach you a lot of things and you grow very quickly. And number two is just, if I want to learn how to do something, I just click Google. I go over to Google and I type in, sorry, I'll type in something like picture in picture iMovie, and the instructions show up there. So sometimes I have to watch somebody do a little YouTube video or something. Sorry, but just real quickly, I was showing you that that's how you can learn the quickest, is let your kids teach you and use the resources you have at hand. All right, enough about that. So let me start with transitions. In between each clip, or let me move on to transitions. Let me transition to transitions. In between each clip, you have this bar here shows me that there's no transition. Up here, that's one of the features in iMovie. And this is, I think, one of the things that differentiates between iOS and the computer. There's more of them on the computer. I always like to use fade to white to go in between my introduction video and my introduction scene, if you will. It automatically puts a 1 second fade to white in between the two. All right, I actually like to make that 2 seconds. So this is just a quick little digression. I right click, I show something called the precision editor. And this is like a small little advanced technique, but all I'm really doing here is dragging this from 1 second to 2 seconds there. And I can also then drag this clip and have it start wherever I want to in the scene. So once I do that, I close the precision editor. And I have a 2 second transition then from the opening scene to there. Let me see. I might as well show you how I get the soundtrack on the beginning, because somebody already asked about the soundtrack, and I'll just do it in the order from beginning to end of the video. So the first thing you notice in this video that I use, by the way, this is Ash Cave at Hocking Hills, somewhere we go annually. I don't even use that sound. So over here, and I'm zooming in to show you, those up and down, I don't know if you want to say that, looks like a heart rate monitor or something. That's actually your sound clip. You can, right in the screen, you can adjust the volume of that clip and turn it off. So I actually put a soundtrack over that. So I grab that with my mouse, see, wait till it looks like that, grab it, and then just slide it straight down to 0. Now there's no sound because I don't actually use sound for that clip. Over here on audio, this is where you can put songs that you have from your iTunes into your video. So I have a lot of songs saved. What I do is I find soundtracks from YouTube or whatever, and I convert them to an MP3, which is something that only if we have extra time, I'll show you how to do in this video. But when you do that, it saves to your iTunes, which is a great place to have them, because when you want them for iMovie, You don't have to do anything else. It's all right in the program. So the first song that I use is, I have to see, we use, this song is this song called Lift Yourself is kind of like a funny little anthem. My son and I, it's like an inside joke between my son and I. So deal with it. We put inside jokes in my videos just for me and him. But this version is actually a guy we found on YouTube. He has a nice little uplifting quote in the beginning. And he kind of dubs over the soundtrack.
It isn't hard. John F. Kennedy says, let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
All right. So, and he says of liberty, but that, since I didn't hear him say that at the end, I cut the track down a little too short. So I'm going to open that up to make sure I hear him say that. So notice how I'm just like grabbing the end of the track. I guess I should have explained something. When I pulled the soundtrack, you saw me do it, but I wasn't saying out loud what was happening. All that I did when I found the song that I wanted, I clicked and dragged it down into the play area, and it creates a green sound bar. This is where I can see my sound now. And I can do things with it just like with my video clips and my pictures. Sorry that I had to go back on that. That's just my own imperfections. I'm getting used to explaining this.
And the success of liberty.
So what I did there, I just made sure that I could hear him say liberty, because that's when I end it. That's when I transition into my intro scene. One other quick little thing that I do, you'll notice when I hover right here where this little circle is, it says fade audio out. And I grab that and I drag it to the left, and it'll fade him out for like 2 seconds. It fades the sound out, and I'll play it back so you could hear that.
The success of liberty.
And that's just a nice little effect. When you build them into transitions, it's just little things that I do, and I'm kind of like that type of person. I'm very meticulous. Okay, so now that I'm in my intro video, you can see that we just kind of record a scene. I'm not even sitting down yet. We're just warming up. I think we even mess up. So there's a few things that I do right away when I'm looking at my scene. I notice I'm looking at it on a large, grander scale, and I notice the sound clips kind of guide me as to what happened. I can pretty much tell that we messed up and had to start over because there's a big gap here. Yeah, and you can see the way my son is looking at me right there. I messed up for a second time. So I'm going to have to cut that. So real easy way to do that is I'm hovering my mouse to the part where I want to start. All right, and I remember, because I've already edited this video once, it was about right here. I click once, right where that spot is. Now, if I right click, I have an option that says split clip, and I can use that. And I also can use a command, a keyboard command, Control B, or I'm sorry, on a Mac, Command B does the same thing. So I like to use keyboard commands. I'll take this time to throw that out there. When I'm using iMovie, it makes things a lot quicker. Like when you want to delete a clip, all that I have to do is come over here, click on it. It's highlighted in yellow, and I click the delete button on my keyboard and it's gone. And that's like how I edit. And it doesn't matter if you make mistakes. You don't have to keep running up to the camera and starting over. You just have your little outtakes recorded. You fix them in this program. Real simple. That's how I recommend doing it. No pressure to make mistakes. Now, I know that I want to adjust the volume, and I can tell just by looking at it, I really want to have like yellow peaks, but if it gets red, it's going to be like really abrasive for people. See, you can see when it starts to get red at 200%, that's double the volume. I know for this clip, just because from having done this video, I put it at about 158 to 178. And that was this volume that I like for this. So.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Yemma Nation Explores Reading.
So that looks like that. Now, let me make sure I haven't skipped over anything in my notes. I showed you how to adjust the audio on a video clip, transition in between video clips, lower the volume here, and attach a soundtrack. Now, you need the soundtracks in iTunes, so I'll show you that there's probably some pre-programmed ones. If you click on sound effects, theme music, there's stuff that's already pre-programmed. You can use those too, but just having been doing this like for multiple years, I have stuff saved up that I like to use. So I'll show you how we transition out of this scene. We always like open up the book and create a transition out. So we go to right about here, and I click my mouse here. I click Command B, I cut that part off. Click on the part that I want to get rid of, press delete on my keyboard. And in the videos with my son, I transition from live action scenes to the book using a transition called swap. So to get it, the first thing I want to do is make sure that my vertical line is in between the two clips, and I can double click on my transition and the swap transition is in there. Now say I put the wrong one in there, you can switch them. If another option from double clicking is the click and drag, but see, you can always switch them. So, you're never doomed to a mistake. And another thing, just like with a lot of programs that we use, we can hit Command Z to back up a mistake. So you're never, like I said, you're never doomed to what you've done. So I just check to make sure that my swap transition is how I like it. And we move into the book. Now, one thing you might notice right away is on the part where my son's voice, his voice it doesn't carry like mine does. So I do a little more editing with his voice. So here we go. You'll hear right away.
To Table by Rebecca L. Johnson.
That's really difficult to hear. So when I click on the book clip, I want to edit the sound right away. With my son, I go up here to the sound editor, and it'll automatically improve the loudness. So watch when I click this on the bottom, you'll notice the bumps raised. So it's improved his stuff significantly. And then this is just another way that you can, like down here, I raise the volume percentage. You can do it up here also. And you can see that having an effect on the screen below. And his, I need to go up to about this, and you're gonna notice an improvement right away.
Farm to Table by Rebecca L. Johnson.
So that fixes that. So if somebody, say you're doing a compilation video for your school, if people are sending you clips and the volume's all over the place, I recommend taking the time to try to normalize that using these functions here. Let me think. Okay, one other thing that I need to do is as soon as I put this book in here, we used screencasting to record the book. We use QuickTime, which is a program that's preloaded on a Mac. There's a lot of other ways that you could do that. So I was just mentioning what I use now. I have my video clip of him reading the book in my work area. And now I need to go to the cropping, because you'll notice that it automatically crops to fill, and that actually cuts out part of the book. So when I'm using a book, I click on fit. So that's just a consideration to make sure that the actual book is all on the screen. So now you see that's fixed. Now, if you've watched my videos before, You'll notice that we played these National Geographic books by logging into the account and using the digital book, but I do put page turning effects on there. This is how I do that. It's very simple because you've already seen me use transitions. So I listen to my son, and I have to go back and listen to each page during the editing process just to make sure, because we mess up. We both mess up when we're reading. Again, we don't have to stop the video, make a new clip. We edit it out using this program. So I'll show you how we go from the cover to the first page.
Farm to Table by Rebecca L. Johnson.
All right, I know he's done with that page, so I let it play. My vertical line tells me where I want to click once. I use Command B, or I right click and split the clip. Now I have this gap in between my video, and I can come over here, and there's a nice little transition called Page Curl Left, and it creates a page turning effect. And let me see here. This is where I know he starts back up again on the next page. So right away, I'm gonna use Command B to split the clip or right click it and delete this little part in between. And you'll see how this looks like he's just turning the page to the next part.
Farm to Table by Rebecca L. Johnson.
Oh, okay. So you'll notice, see, that's editing. We need to cut this part out
Making
too.
chocolate.
We needed to cut that part out too. I can just chop that off right there. Command B, delete, and now that's fixed.
Making chocolate. Did you know?
Okay, wait a minute. Notice how I cut off too much of the video, so I'm going to show you how I fix that. Watch when the page turns, he already said the word making.
Making chocolate.
I can slide this back just a little bit to fix that, just like I need to.
Making chocolate. Did you know that chocolate bars are made from beans? Let's see how chocolate bars are made.
Then I just continue on in that fashion through the book. And so I'm not going to do every page. Like I said, I already have this pre-made to show you at the end, but I'll do one more page to show you. He's done with that page, so I click Command B. I go right away to the transition. It puts in a page turning effect. You'll notice that transitions cut into that video just a little bit. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And you can go back and adjust that. Like if he cut off some of this, if the transition cut off some of the sound, you can make that little adjustment right there. And I zoomed in because without even listening, I can see where he finishes talking right there. And the transition for the page turn needs to be right there. And then I just come over here and find where he starts reading the next page.
Cocoa bean.
Which is right here. I cut, and then I trim this part in between also. Command B, delete.
Cocoa beans grow in cocoa pods. The pods grow.
See how that works? Okay. Let me zoom out so I could see what the next step could be to show you. So like I said, I just move along. This does take a little bit of time because you have to listen back through, especially once we've made mistakes. But you could, like my son and I, we've stuttered before, and I've zoomed in really far, and you can delete little parts of the video, and you can actually like take out stutters and everything. So the sound editing, if you have like some fun with it, you can really, really be as serious as you need to be. So the next step, I'm going to show you how I transition into the outro scene. I'm going to show you how I put a soundtrack on the end, a soundtrack over his reading, and some scrolling credits. So make sure just to chime in if you have any questions. Right away, I noticed somehow that page turning effect got stuck right there. But when I transition, as I said in these videos with my son, I like to use the swap just in these ones with him. It's just kind of like a kid effect. I don't know why. I like to use that one. I transition into the beginning of our scene where we always like to start with our nose back in the book. So I need to cut the beginning when I'm climbing into my chair and everything. And then my son will say the end. And I'm going right away. I'm going to change the volume because I remember on the intro clip, I went up to like 178. I'm going to do that right away.
The end.
All right. You'll notice too, my son, like I said, he's not as loud as me. And here's a way you can fix that. I can actually trim within a clip. I just hit Command B. Let me put it right here because I can see my son's like lower voice right here where my mouse is. I can hit Command B and raise the volume of this clip. So he sounds like he's talking just as loud as me.
The end.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
See, cool little editing tricks. Once you know them, it's like, wow, that's what you had to do. So I hope you're learning like little things along the way too. So that's it. Then that just plays the end of the book. I'm going to click over to the actual finished product here. I'm trying to get there soon. Let's see.
The end.
Now, at the end of the video, we always, say goodbye and we climb out of the chairs. And I like to put a fade to black. You see my one cat got left in his chair. And then I use scrolling credits. So that's real simple. I wanted to show you how I do that. And this is a good time to put that in because I haven't talked about titles yet. So once I show you this, I'm going to go back to the beginning because I need to show you how to put titles to overlay that beginning video too. They actually have one called scrolling credits. So basically what I do is I put that there. You just drag the title to the end and you have a purple block that edits just like a sound or video clip. Mine's usually like 20 seconds. And when you click in and it's highlighted yellow, you can come up here and you can edit it in any way that you want. Since I'm not putting like names there, I actually just highlight that and delete it. But I do write certain things like thanks for watching. And then I hit enter a few times. And then I say never stop exploring. And then I hit enter a few times. And then I say Yemma Nation explores reading or something like that. And then you can see when I go to play that back, you'll just have that scrolling credit effect. So I use the default font and everything, but those are also things you can change up here. I'll quickly mention that. Different types of fonts, different sizes is all there. So as I'm talking about titles, I'm going to scroll back to the beginning of the video because actually in my video, it's not just this playing. It says Yemma Nation presents and all this. Yemma Nation explores reading. So to get that on there, I can't remember which one I do, but it doesn't matter because I'm just going to show you an example. You can take a title and place it on top of a video clip, and it's going to give you, as you can see on the top right of my screen, it's showing words that you can lay over the video. And you can change the length of it. And if you wanted to say different things, you can add multiple ones in there. So actually, I'm going to make them a little bit shorter and then play it back to show you what I mean. So you can click like Yemma. I'm always plugging my name here. Yemma Nation explores reading. And then click out of that. And then when you go to play it back, it looks like that.
It isn't hard. John F. Kennedy says, let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill.
So I just showed you a couple things you can do with titles. You can lay them over a video or a picture at any time. You can create scrolling credits. And then one other thing I might want to show you guys, but I'm not going to use it for this video, is the background screens here. If you have like a transition screen, like where you wanted to send a message, you could put like an orange screen here and then a title that says like chapter 2. And that's going to look like this. So the reason why I showed you that is because for this video, I don't really use a function called backgrounds, but there's going to be different things that you can do with that as well. And one like basic and really functional function that of the backgrounds is to just create these screens in between. And then when you mash up backgrounds with titles, you can get, you know, color combinations, like school colors and transition screens with messages and stuff like that. So just something, and I deleted that out because like I said, I don't use that in this video, but just something definitely you need to know. Now at the end, I always do like an outro song, and I'm gonna show you how I plug that in. I have a verbal cue that I do in every video where I wanna start playing my music. And I say, with that being said.
So with that being said.
That's right there. I kind of knew where it was. So I put my vertical arrow right about there. Then I come over to audio, and I use a song called Reading Rainbow Rocks. So I basically drag that song down here. And you'll notice the song plays like way past my, let me zoom out so you could see this. It plays past my screen of words. So the way to fix that, I can just shorten the song at the end, and see the program tends to know that you want to line that up at the end. So the song ends when the video ends, and with that, I will fade it out a couple seconds like I showed you earlier, just another small little effect. And I will fade the music in, and you're going to notice right away that, wow, you can't hear him talking anymore.
So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this book today.
Okay, we don't want that. So what I do is I want to keep the song consistent though. So I trim the clip. I'm going to trim it here too because I actually gradually bring the loudness in. Now I'm going to lower the volume of the song to about 40%. Here I'm going to put it down to about 79. And then it's going to sound like this.
Thank you. Bye.
So that's how you put the outro song on there. And so you'll notice, like, I didn't do this in my first few videos, so I haven't really said it yet. I'll say it now. My first few videos, definitely like rough drafts compared to like how I've refined this process. So I do have this consistent little like ending here.
So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this book today.
So I hope you enjoyed that and learned that little thing. One other thing I want to show you for the video is how to put a soundtrack over the book. So it can be like really kind of bland sounding, in my opinion. I'm not saying it is for everybody, but for me, I just think reading kind of sounds like
Farm to Table by.
It can be very stale sounding in the background. So I add a sound track over that. One of the songs I like to use, now you can search like copyright-free background music all over YouTube. And that's really something that I like to do, to find different songs, because I like to switch it up. But I can actually take a song and insert it in to the video. So he's going to be reading with the soundtrack in the background. So that's how this is going to come in sounding.
Farm to table. By
Okay, you'll notice right away again, way too loud. For this, I have to go down to like 18% because you don't want it to, you just want it to be there, but not prominent at all.
Farm to Table
Like
by
that.
Rebecca L. Johnson. Making chocolate. Did you know that chocolate?
So that, yeah, that's how you add a soundtrack in there. Now you'll notice at the end here, this didn't actually happen in because I had to trim a lot of this video, but you can actually just like repeat the song by hitting Command C and Command V, like copy and paste. And now the song, and then I'm going to shorten it here. Now I have that song going over the whole entirety of the book, as you can see. So now he has a little soundtrack playing anytime he's reading.
In a factory, cocoa beans are roasted or cooked.
So that looks like that. And honestly, let me see, I took notes. I feel like I showed you a lot here.
So I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
When you added that music to your story, are you going to have to rearrange your music if there was some right after that? Would it cover it up? So if there was another music right there under that 5.7 seconds, would I have to go back and fix that? Does it move the next music down, I guess, if it's too long?
That's a good question. And let me show you, I'm going to show you an example of that because I can make like a mistake example of that. Let me get a longer video.
Okay.
Down here. Let me see. Listen, a lot of this stuff, I don't even know how I get it on my, all right. So say at the end of, so what Tiffany's asking is like, say I added a longer song. Now what happens over here? When you start seeing layers like this, layer 1, 2, 3, when you get to that part in the video, they're going to blend, they're just going to play over each other. So it's just going to sound real messy, which I guess I could show an example of that.
So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this book today. Can't wait to see you again soon.
So that's like another fix that your computer's going to know you're wanting to do. You take that new clip that you put in there and you start dragging it to shorten it. You grab the end of it and drag it over to shorten it. And when you see everything in one line and it's not making a third layer, you know that you're not overlapping sounds, but they will both play. Did that answer your question there?
Yeah, I didn't realize it would take it to another layer. I thought it would move it down. Do you know what I mean? Instead of below, I guess.
Yeah. Nope. They don't like take precedence. It just becomes real messy. And
Okay.
Because there's times, I mean, in really advanced settings that you might want two things playing, and then you're gonna want to adjust the volumes of those clips. And even in this example, I'm already using two things by using a background song and a voiceover. So I guess there's times when you might want three. So I thought that was a really good question.
So here's my other question. So when you're doing these online books, you're doing it all in one take and then just cutting out the errors?
Yes. Yep. I'm just recording the videos and the voiceovers in one take. If I edit it right away, I remember where the mistakes are. It's a little bit easier. But also, I like to use these volume bumps, especially in the book part. Let me zoom in and show you. They really help guide the editing of where mistakes are and everything. And I'm just using like my cut. Oh, I don't know, but my program, I think, just closed on me. No.
So my other question while you're looking for that is everything you recorded, like you and your son and all of that, you just did it on your phone.
The video of, okay, so the video of my son and I, like this here, what you see on the screen, is from my phone. We just prop the phone up, turn on a lamp, and look at the phone. And this part is done using QuickTime, the book. But
Right.
I know there's many options for screencasting.
Right.
We screencast this because it's easy to have that book right on the screen. And it's something that we can access right now.
Absolutely. And then the first part, that was a video that you took with your phone a long time ago, the Hocking Hills one. So that's from your phone
Yeah,
also?
I just use this as right. It like you said, it's just a video that's in my photo album, basically. Um,
So no professional video. That's equipment. That's what I was asking.
it's all done with my phone. All the video is like done with my phone. Anything is either done with a phone or a MacBook. And I could do a lot of this with an iPad too. I think there's a few things that I would have to omit, like I don't know if they have all the transitions.
So there's a question for you, and it says, is it easier to use an iPad or the phone for iMovie?
So what I've learned, and this is only something I've learned from when I was teaching science and all my kids were using iMovie, is that the smaller the device, the less number of functions you get to use. So then that's going to be up to you. So if you're using it, let me rephrase that. If you're using a MacBook, you have a lot more functionality, but it's also more complicated then. With a phone, I'm telling you, like, you can just drag pictures from your photo album or video clips. You put them right in there. And I've done that too. It is so easy to do. You could do it sitting in the car. It's all made for a touch screen interface. There's just less of the precise editing work that you're able to do from your phone. So then you have to make the decision what you think is better. If you're just starting out, certainly if you start with your phone and your iPad, when you go to move on to the Mac computer program, you're going to be well versed in it because you're just going to be learning a little bit more as you go along.
And what age students do you think could use this on an iPad?
Wow.
I mean, just from your students, I know you worked with middle school and high school students, but I think that at least second and third grade could do this. I don't know if they could do the audio so much. I mean, maybe they could, but
there's depending on the type of functions you would want to use iMovie for, I think that you could go down to probably like second grade, because kids can do simple things like using iMovie, which I didn't even show you here where this microphone is. You can record video straight from iMovie if you're using your iPad. So you can record a video, like say a kid made a little project like on a worksheet. You could record a video, the kid could with their iPad, and then they can voice it over. You see where my mouse is? That's a function on those. And just talk about their picture, like, I drew this because this means something to me. So there's a lot, way less advanced applications than what I showed you today that you could be using this, for instructional purposes, making much shorter clips. So yeah, I would say down to about second grade for the less advanced things. Can I quickly say that
you have like 6 minutes too, just so you know.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna click projects, and that's gonna back me out of here. I'm gonna save it, whatever. This was like our tech demo, because these things take up a lot of memory, so I will be deleting it. Now, I'm gonna bring you to the finished product and just show you that I already edited this video, and this is what it looks like when it's done. I have this music faded in and out with my son's voice, and you can see all the page turns. And these clips here where you just see like no transition, he was making mistakes, and I remember he had to, let me click on this. He read the first page and then he made a mistake on the second page. Then he restarted just on the second page. So this is just visually what it looks like when I patched all that together. When you hear it, it sounds like one page. You would never know he made a mistake. And I will be publishing this video. I've already saved the file. So when we get off the meeting, I'm going to publish it on YouTube, and maybe Tiffany could post the link of the YouTube video in the on the YCSD Tech page. I'm asking a favor.
I'll put the link with the I'll put the link to this video with the link for the webinar.
Yeah, so you guys, thank you for doing that. So you guys can see the finished product and how I put it on YouTube at the end. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that's what it looks like when it's all finished. And
So there's a question
Yeah.
that says, what is the average memory that is used from the iPhone for iMovie? Do you happen to know?
Oh, wow. The videos are like, a 5-minute video is probably like a gigabyte, depending on the quality too. Like how much, if you use high quality, that has a lot to do with it. Like if you're saving it at high quality or low quality will lessen the size. So I have to delete my stuff as I go along, because just videos alone, and then when you have them saved as iMovie projects, they take up more space. It does. So I'm always deleting things. Yeah.
And I just think it depends on how much memory you have on your device. Like I bought the largest amount of memory I could for my phone this time because I've learned that all the projects I have on there didn't fit before.
Right. Right. I also have a lot of memory on my phone. Quality of life improvement.
Yes. Okay, so you have a comment just says thanks. It says, do you save them to a flash drive?
I do not. What I do, so actually, let me go back. Let me share my screen real quick, and I can show you what I do. I come up here, and we also have a little share, and I click on that, and you can share it straight to YouTube. You can do this from your device also, or you can share it as a like video file. Once my video is on YouTube, I delete everything because, hey, then it's permanent anyway. So I'm not going to be editing it anymore. Then it's not taking up any memory on my computer. Once I get it on YouTube, I don't save it anywhere else.
I do. I have all mine on an external drive though, but it's like a couple terabytes. So
Yeah. Maybe one day if I get one of those.
just so you know, they're not expensive. I think they're only like $40 now. They used to be very expensive, like $100 and some dollars, but they're not anymore. But I love it. So,
That's a good tip. Thank you.
but yeah, I put all my stuff up on YouTube too. I just haven't done any books yet.
Well, hey, I think we all have to, don't we?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm trying to use clips first to do my story, and then I'm going to edit it in iMovie. So
Clips is good too. Clips is a really good program.
well, I just wanted to make sure I had that as an example for people. It's so easy to use. So I know you have another meeting and it only have 2 minutes.
Yes,
Does
I do.
anybody else have any other questions for Jason?
All right.
Okay.
Can I just say thank you for everybody for joining my class. Share the recording with people. Reach out personally if you have any questions. And remember, you'll never stop exploring when you're reading with me on Yemma Nation Explores Reading.
I love it.
See you guys soon. I gotta go.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.